everyone. We welcome you to Glass Academy Webinars 2022. The theme for this year is Ideas in Architecture, which expands to innovation, design thinking, emerging trends around the world, and sensibility. Today we have with us architect Nikhil Chakravarthy. Architect Nikhil is a project architect and team lead at FHD India, a renowned architectural firm in the country where he works on a multitude of user-centric design projects of various scales. He received his Bachelor of Architecture degree from the School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal. He pursued his master's from STEP University, Ahmedabad, where he graduated with majors in architectural design and minors in history, theory, and criticism. Welcome, Architect Nikhil. We are delighted to have you with us here, and we're looking forward to your presentation. Let's hear it from you on your topic. Over to you.
Thank you, Radhika, for the intro. First of all, my heartfelt gratitude, Ethos and Glass Academy, for having me on this platform. Before we jump into the topic, I would like to give a brief introduction about our company, that is FHD India, and what we do. We are a design firm based out of Hyderabad, and we deal with projects across the country and even abroad in collaboration with few of our partners. We mainly deal with high-end residential projects and projects in hospitality realm. That's like 90% of our work chat and also our strength. Apart from that, we also do some offbeat projects, Organo Nandi being one among them, which is India's first farm community located in the outskirts of the city of Hyderabad. This project has won many awards and accolades since its inception, um, for its unconventionality and the design thinking. Witnessing its need and how it's been received in the market. Now we are repeating these models in other parts of the state too. The other orbit project which we are dealing with is Togetherment, which is today's topic I want to cover. While organo projects are sustainable farm communities located away from the cities and are spread in horizontal expanse, Togetherments are sustainable communities which are designed for the cities and in a vertical fashion. So, why and what is Togetherments? It's a known fact that the cities are rapidly expanding and they're facing a severe land crunch, especially in all the metropolitan cities. For the city comforts and the city lifestyle, uh, we are also missing out a lot of the things, especially the connect with the nature and the connect with each other. So we have cut ourselves off from each other in the name of privacy. We have definitely become super duper busy with in making money, and we have accepted the typecasted real estate solutions as our homes and as the places we hang out in. Uh, but this was not how it was always. We used to have a completely different style of living, a completely different style of lifestyle. We were a part of very caring, well knit communities which were based just out of interactions. Streets were always considered as an extension to our homes and seldom the ground for these interactions. I still remember the days where streets were used for a multitude of things. Like they used to transform from, as you know, they were good playgrounds for kids. They are a beautiful set of canvases for the women during the festivals. They are a great set of places for celebrations, events, marriages, etc. And it's a whole different thing. I remember it as. Um, People somehow always had something to share with each other, and they really cared about each other. Relationships were just built uh, with simple interactions, simple exchanges they used to have, and streets were actually playing a major role in it. So now it's a different setup altogether in the cities that we are living in. There are so many people living around you, but you barely interact with any, I would say. There is no uniqueness between each house, and it's all modular setup in all apartments. The only social spaces apartments got are the clubhouses, which are again typecasted spaces without any liveliness. Uh, so as we we are just group of people living in a community who awkwardly smile at each other whenever we cross our paths. While everyone's needs are different in a home, in a house, you only get one set of design from the builder, and you have to adjust, accommodate yourself, and just live with it. So there is no customization in any of the homes. So the new typology that we came up with togetherments, I guess you already cracked the meaning of the word too, but still, I always love to explain this bit. So we believe that apartments are homes which keeps people, families apart from each other, whereas in togetherments, the spaces uh, are designed in such a way that it brings people together to interact, to thrive, to celebrate everything in life, basically. So what have we done here? We have gathered few interactive activities that happens in a street, some green areas, some games and sports, and then stacked all of them vertically in a very interesting and a very interactive way. So we have also categorized these spaces, age specifically, in terms of its openness and how well they function with each other when they're stacked next to each other. And we have also taken some assistance from the technology, arranged them very systematically. This is fuzzy logic that's been employed here, and maybe we can discuss about this in a different session. But yeah, we have a very beautiful pie for everyone, for every age group. We have already tried and tested this stack in the first project of ours, first project of Togetherments, that is in Miapur, Hyderabad. The building is up and running, and it's a very successful product. I mean, we can see it from the way it's been received and from the way people are giving their reviews while they're living there. Just to live down the various type of activities that are happening in the building. We have a multi-purpose hall, gathering space. We have a toddlers gym, library, gaming corner, music, dance room, billiards, air hockey, badminton, gully cricket, a full-fledged gym, an open air theater, etc., etc. So the 2G areas, if you observe that the 2G areas are placed strategically in the center of the block, so that people who are taking the lifts and are traveling up and down get to see what is happening, uh, and be enthusiastic about, or to be a part of the activities that are happening. This actually would be a kind of a push that we are looking. So the site's been inaugurated few months back, and this is the OIT area during one of the housewarming ceremonies that was happening in the apartment. So all the people, I mean, it was beautiful sight for us, where people, to see that people have congregated in that area, using that space very efficiently. Uh, for various activities. There was a luncheon happening at one corner, and then there was movie screening happening on the other side. It was indeed guessing it to be. So this is the Madras Cafe, where you can grab a cup of coffee from the vending machine, mm, sit and relax, looking at the city, at the expanse of the city. These are some vertical gardens designed in the top levels of the apartment. These are to grow some vegetables like palak, methi, coriander, brinjals, lady singers, etc. So this is also a space where people, especially the current generation kids, can get their hands dirty, know how farming, although it happens on a very small scale in this apartment, know how farm food is being grown, and also understand the value of it. These days, you can observe this pattern that kids generally say that, I mean, you ask a kid where do you get your food from, they quickly answer supermarket, which is unfortunate. So we want to connect these particular, we want to the kids, the future generations to know about farming, the future, the how food can be grown. So we already have a very good project which is up and running now. And in our second installment of Togetherments, which we have started in Bangalore, we have taken the whole setup to an even bigger and a grander scale. So, so if you look at it, we have taken the same street philosophy, which is divided into two pieces now in one tower, and we have placed few more activities on the ground level, which actually connects the two towers, two verticals. So this central space in between is called, I mean, we treat it as a social attractor, which binds these places. Uh, so this is the site plan, which shows two 2G verticals in one tower and the other 2G vertical in the other. So then there is an area between these two towers. As I was saying, this is the binding point for all the towers. So we have, yeah, as I call it, as the social attractor. So this is the OIT area with various types of activities happening across the day. It can be a great space for conversations, a marketplace for residents to exhibit their products, or it can be a stage during festivals, during any events, or a great space to congregate during IPLs too. So these are some visuals just to show the intent of the space and how it can be, or how it can be used, I would say. So this is a view of the games area in one of the towers. These spaces interact with each other at various levels. So anyone can watch the games happening down below from the corridor of the next level. So you can be very uh, part of it. Unlike how it happens in a clubhouse, you can cheer for your friend, you can pull their leg. It's all these kinds of activities can brew in these kind of spaces. uh, Another particular piece that's a part of this 2G vertical are the work from home spaces. So work from home has become a major phenomena during post pandemic, and it isn't a pleasant thing always, not for many. So you have kids running here and there, you have your husband or your wife complaining about things, there is noise from TV, there is noises from kitchen. So this isn't a very pleasant setup, if you're working from home and you are rarely able to concentrate on your work. So we thought it's the need of the hour to provide dedicated work from home spots. So we have split these work from home spots across the towers in various spaces, which also can interact with the common areas. So, and there are various types of work from home spots too. Like there are some work from home spots like in the open areas, like in the middle of the vertical gardens. There are some spaces which work from home spots which are enclosed but can facilitate a group of people sitting together and work. And then there are these individual working pods where you can isolate yourself, work on whatever you're working without any disturbances from around. Coming to the terraces, in most of the apartments these days, you can see that terraces are messy spaces, which are always used, I mean, mostly used for services. And it's such a great real estate which is going, which is going for nothing. So we thought we should wisely use these spaces too. We strategically placed the solar panels on top, which generates the electricity for the common areas. The shade from the solar panels we place activities or spaces below the solar panels where like work from home spots, uh, uh, like party places, yoga decks, swimming pool, etc. So these works very efficiently without compromising on the quality of the space or the feel look and feel of the place. There are also square foot gardens on the terrace. Again, these square foot gardens. So let's say each square foot garden will be allotted to one family where they can grow their veggies. It's not going to be like a full fledged thing, but at least a very good experience for the families. So there are some these are some views of various species that are there and that can interact with each other. Um, so there are also dedicated zones for fitness because it's a very important part of your lifestyle. It should be very important, and we believe in that too. Like a full-fledged gym with all sorts of equipment with a good square footage, badminton courts with beautiful vertical gardens, unlike a very monotonous enclosed room. Yeah, of course, there is this swimming pool too. So, and coming to the customization part, we didn't stop ourselves uh, at the common areas only. So we went one step ahead and designed custom homes too, with where the requirements of the families occupying the homes are met. The customization starts right from the entrance, an entrance which reflects your personality, your thoughts, or whatever you want to showcase. So that's what makes it a custom home. I mean, it should start at the entrance, is what we believe in. So one pain point, if you look at it, any apartments, is the space crunch. So like space crunch for even mundane of items, like you're coming from outside, with a wet umbrella. You don't have a space to drop it or stack it. So, or you have some item from your childhood or from somewhere, what do you call it, a thing of nostalgia which you don't want to dump anywhere, but you need a space for that particular item. So we have taken into consideration the space constraints, and we try to carve or create some spaces which are very efficient and effective for these kind of requirements. Coming to the balconies, we have staggered balconies as you can see it in this view, with a full-fledged planter box on either sides, on one side of each balcony, where you can actually grow a full-size tree. So it's the you won't be able to. I mean, I'm not sure whether this view shows that scale clearly, but it's actually pretty huge. Uh, and you have this custom made railing, and the angles, everything is worked out such a way that you can have nice planters stuck on them, which actually gives a very pleasant experience from inside the home or when you are sitting in the balconies. The spaces inside the home too can transform as per the requirements. So the same space can be a kids play area throughout the day, and during the night it can be their bedroom with beautiful bunk beds and great set of color palettes. So if you look at the work from home spot again, so we have a confined work from home during the day, or it can be a second living room or a common room or another bedroom whenever there is a requirement. So coming to the back end of the homes, utilities spaces house few of the most important activities of our homes, and we have thought through and added a space for each one of those activities. There is a space for a washing machine, there is a space for a dryer, a dishwasher, space to hang your clothes. All the house cleaning equipments can be kept in a nicely tucked in closets, and we made sure it's a very easy job to use all these spaces very efficiently and effectively. Coming to the sustainability part of the project, uh, like these are baby steps towards a greener planet, you can say. So we designed the homes to have maximum amount of natural light, so that you can reduce artificial lighting during the day. We also made sure that we designed the overhangs from the windows, which can cut down the heat induction. We designed the openings to very strategically so that you can have a beautiful cross ventilation, and that too in a city like Bangalore, you can actually have a very pleasant setup with the design that's been developed. We also made sure that we tap every droplet of rain that falls in our site, and we have provided retention tanks at different parts of the uh, project. So this actually, although not much, but this is one step. I believe that one step towards
We are looking
a
forward to.
sustainable
Hopefully,
lifestyle.
we would be able to get there in few months.
Thank you for such an informative presentation, sir. It was very interesting to see how your designs are not only responding to the ever-growing population and its needs, but also to the culture, social, and environmental context of the place. I am sure our viewers must have learned a lot from the presentation, and as a result, must be curious to know more. Myself included, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you a few questions. Through your presentation, we have seen vertical urban living as one of the many approaches to address the challenge of increasing density at the expense of nature. Can you share some more innovative strategies that you adopt? For example, like we there's a lot of space crunch, like with the ever-growing population, and we do not have that amount of space where we expand horizontally. So, like expanding vertically is one of the great solutions we have seen through your presentation. Is there more innovative strategies?
I think this question can't be answered only through architectural solution, as this has already been tried with the increased population density per square kilometers. That is through apartments again. I believe that the choking of cities can be answered through better policy making and better town planning solutions, where decentralized growth of cities can be promoted. We should have multiple satellite cities functioning in tandem, which can reduce the congestion in the cities. If you observe, this phenomenon is working very effectively in the West. There are multiple suburbs with technoparks or industrial hubs, which ease out the population concentration in the cities. So this is what I can think of. Uh,
Totally agree and understood, sir. So, like, what are some innovative glass trends that are emerging in residential architecture apart from the facade and, major uses?
Glass definitely is one very important construction material in the current day scenario, because people actually like or prefer very open or well lit spaces, and glass plays a very major role. It cuts off heat to an extent, and it brings in the best light. Uh, and with the technology we have various types of glasses. Like Saint Gobain is a master in it, and which is being extensively used in many of the projects, and it actually defines the lifestyle of people too. Houses these days have huge windows, huge openings with glass, because it gives a sense of security too, but it actually merges the inside and the outside spaces too, which is very beautiful setup. So I think it's actually a growing trend, and it's uh, it's a good thing too, I would say.
Definitely it does, and we have seen a lot of like innovative products in the market today. Talking about type casted real estate, like as you mentioned in the presentation, like according to you, how has the space really changed in between generations? For example, like how can like between what is the do you think the spaces of the post-pandemic world look like from the spaces of the pre-post-pandemic? Sorry, okay, I'll just repeat my question. I'm sorry. So, talking about typecasted real estate, as mentioned in your presentation, according to you, how has the space really changed in between generations? For example, like what do you think the spaces of the post-pandemic world looks like?
That's a very interesting question. Most of the current population is facing this kind of situation for the first time in their life. In many fields, it has been a matter of great research since the pandemic, especially about the psychological and behavioral changes that had happened during and post pandemic. As people were confined to only few spaces for days together, and active movements of many were curbed during the time, and there were restrictions which can be defined as a spatial obligation to uh, for people to stay in their living spaces. There was also a sudden emphasis on the spaces around us, as everyone had to spend much more time in them than how it was before. And the focus on personal well-being, quality of life too has improved substantially, as it's predicted that this isn't going to be the last pandemic, and the researches that that are conducted so far, or the researches that are going to happen henceforth, will play a very major role in shaping us and the spaces around in the days to come. One more significant takeaway from the studies is that providing multiple functions at the quarantine spaces, the satisfaction levels of individuals or people will be increased by meeting their needs, and the time spent in that place will alleviate the pressure of the quarantine. All the new buildings or homes that are coming up lately are focusing more on spatial improvements uh, and on designing non-fatigue spaces, which will feel refreshing at any point of the day and always. As I said, it's dawned upon many that personal well-being is something that needs utmost focus on, and it's majorly achieved by healthy spaces around. As have briefed over the presentation, the 2G model and the spaces within have got exactly that stuff which addresses these concerns with very interactive spaces, gardening areas, sports and fitness centers, etc. Also, one more thing, as I've briefed earlier, work from home spots in the common areas are going to be a thing of future, as many companies to have adapted this model, and it's going to be a thing of future definitely. So we need to have them. We need to start integrating these spaces in our common areas. The spaces around should be designed. Yeah. Yeah, post pandemic spaces are and should be much more human centric and healthy, should be more empathetic and very conducive in nature.
Agreed. Like, there have been a lot of changes after the pandemic. So, my next question here is what are some futuristic interactive systems that you think can strongly influence, the occupant perception of the built environment? For example, as you mentioned, how streets or nooks were used for bonding in the previous times. So, in today's generation, how do we manage that? How much privacy is needed, or how much communal living is desired by the participants. So how do you view it, and how do you balance that thing in your design?
Mm. So, as architects, we have a very big responsibility on us, as the spaces that we design have the power to make or break the people who inhabit them. In an apartment setup, especially, we should be addressing the needs of every age group, as each one of them look for a you know look for few types of spaces specifically. Some people look for very active spaces, while the other look for passive or very calm ones. We should be providing a mix of all of them. We should also take special care about the privacy of every space or every activity that's happening, as interactive spaces are not just spaces that are always open, or vice versa. Every activity has a spatial setup, and that has to be respected. That's where the design sense lies in.
Definitely, like design is in the details. So that was very insightful. So on behalf of all of us at Glass Academy and Ethos, I would like to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. Thank you so much.